Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the 90. We're on episode 9 already. That seems to have flown by. I'm joined with the usual suspects this week. Neil, you okay?
All good, thanks. Still recovering from the defeat, but we'll be okay.
We did
From the
draw.
defeat, the draw? Oh my God, I can't even remember now.
It wasn't that bad. Ant, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. But Neil's right. It did feel like a loss, to be fair.
Okay, and we've got a special guest, Neeks, this week. Man United fan, you okay?
I mean, considering everything that's happened this week, no, I'm not very okay, but what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a bit. So thanks everyone for joining us. We thought we'd have a top 4 discussion this week. United are just outside the top 4. We're obviously third. So let's end the league now. We'll call it quits.
Null and void. Null and void.
It's the best way forward. So yeah, we're third. We've not had the best of starts, as Neil said. It felt like a loss the other day. United are on fire the other night. Seemed to get Pogba and Fernandes just seem to be working together. Start of the season, but you never thought you'd ever see that, did you?
We've been dying for it all lockdown. This is what we just waited for. Bruno, Pogba, Martial, Rashford in the same team, and we had Greenwood as well, so can't complain.
Okay, so let's start off with predictions. Ant, top 4 for you?
So Liverpool, Man City, obviously 1 and 2. I think Chelsea will come third. And then I want to say Leicester 4th. So I'm saying that with my heart, but I'm not convinced at all.
Okay. That doesn't sound very convincing, if I'm honest.
No.
Neil?
I'll have to say the same. I think Chelsea, because they're on a right run of form at the moment, they'll get third. We'll get fourth. Obviously, Man City will get first, and then we'll get second, and then Liverpool will win. So that's the way I'm seeing it. It depends, because we've been brought into a scrap that we didn't want to be brought into, but it's by our own doing at the end of the day.
Righto, and let's go to the United fan. This will be the interesting one.
Well, you know what? Solskjaer said after the Sheffield United game, he said, I never said we were aiming for 4th. We want to end the season with only 2 teams above us. So we're aiming for 3rd. And I think we're 6 points behind Chelsea, 5 behind Chelsea, 6 behind Leicester. So if we can catch Leicester, then for me, we can catch Chelsea. So it's by the by. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United in 3rd, and Chelsea 4th.
Okay. I can live with that. Well, I set a challenge to one of the United fans. So Nicole, United, she stands on Twitter. I set her the challenge that whoever finishes above has to come on our podcast the day after the United game. So if Leicester finish above United, she has to come on in a Leicester shirt. And if we finish above United, I have to come on in a United kit.
I hope you've ordered United kit.
So I thought it'd be good at the time. Then I've been watching this play going, oh, God.
I think the fixtures for me is what gives me the confidence that we can finish in 3rd, or at minimum in the top 4, but in 3rd, because we don't play. I think every team we play between now and the last game of the season are in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, looking at the fixtures and looking at the points difference, that it could come down to that last game against Leicester is whoever finishes 3rd, and that could be an absolute almighty game.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion last week, Neeks, around this 5 sub rule. It will help the bigger teams with the better squad depth, because obviously a lot of the teams are playing 2 to 3 games a week, FA Cup as well. So we had a discussion last week around our squad's okay, but it's not got that much depth. Whereas I think United's got a bit more depth than we have. Although you do insist on putting Jesse Lingard in now and again.
No, I agree. Because I was watching even the Sheffield United game, obviously against Man United, and Aston Villa against Chelsea, and especially when Man United and Chelsea both took the lead, and Aston Villa took the lead, but Man United took the lead against Sheffield United early, and especially in the heat, they're just running around chasing shadows, trying to get back in the game. By the time it gets to 60, 70 minutes, have you got the changes to actually make an impact on the game? Yeah. Obviously, we went 3-0 up, and then we made 5 subs. And those 5 subs that came on, Mata, who was it? Igalo, McTominay, I think it was Fred. A
Yeah.
lot of those players could get into and should get into the majority of teams in the Premier League. So definitely, I think it benefits the bigger sides. Benefits Chelsea, the whole break as well. They've got a lot of players coming back from injury. They can get them back to full fitness. The likes of Kante, Loftus-Cheek. So yeah, it's been interesting.
The only exception is obviously Arsenal, because I've got no idea what's happened there.
I don't even know what their squad is.
Or as we always say, we don't look that far down the table. So we're going to have to touch at this at one point. Liverpool champions, and without causing us too much hate on all social media, what are your views on it?
Well done. Can we move on now?
I like that one.
Go on, Ant, what are your views on it, and how the fans have reacted to it?
Obviously, they've deserved the title and stuff, and they've been by far the best team in the league this year. But I think the thing that's frustrating is seeing all of how their fans are celebrating, and it's only a minority of them, as it always is, but have ruined it for the majority of Liverpool fans.
Yeah, I think you're right. So for me, as we've said before, they deserve the league. They've been the team that's been outstanding throughout the whole season, and they deserve the league. I understand that. What I don't understand is the media have been horrendous since about January. Since they got 10 points clear, the media have been horrendous. I mean, even the other day, one of the adverts for Sky, they were playing Palace. The advert's 3 minutes long, and it's like 2 minutes 58 seconds of Liverpool scoring goals and winning, and then it just says versus Palace, and I thought to myself, how is that fair? So the media have wanted this for a long time, and I think they're dressing it up. The fans
wanted it last year, particularly Sky. They wanted, after the incredible title race was last year, Sky wanted Liverpool to win the title.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just Sky. I've seen the same on BT. It seems to be a lot of media have got this loving for Liverpool, and the fans don't help themselves. We saw firing rockets at their own buildings, and I saw a great thing on Twitter, which Neek will love. Some Liverpool fans drove all the way to Old Trafford to hang a Liverpool flag outside. Obviously, Old Trafford was packed with, there must have been 2 people walking past. One of them was a United fan, and the other one was filming, because obviously there was a confrontation. So if you go on Twitter, check it out. The United fan just says a few choice words.
Rent free. I can't believe they won their first title in 30 years. They've been dying for this. And the first thing on their mind, I actually took a day off Twitter after they won the title. I said, no, I'm not doing this. I'll let them have that space. I'll come back and pretend like it never happened. But I come on there and I'm seeing them talking about Man United. Now you're telling me they were literally at Old Trafford. So are you happy that you won for your club, or are you happy that that you won and Man United didn't, or that you're one step closer to the perch that of course Fergie put us on? Listen, there's a reason why Liverpool fans are hated, because they got no decorum, they got no humility, and they talk about, oh, we're the most hated club in the... Yeah, because you put yourself out there to be hated. You love the victim mentality of it. Enjoy your title. You know, you got 1 Premier League title. Granted, there's 18 before, but I don't know. I didn't see them, so it didn't happen. You got 1 Premier League title. Leicester have 1, and Blackburn have 1. Now, when you catch Arsenal in Premier League titles, Chelsea, Man City, and of course Man United with 13, then maybe you can come to Old Trafford and put your flag.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I saw on Twitter yesterday loads of Liverpool fans saying, we won again, although it's took 30 years. No, you haven't won again, because the Premier League wasn't formed then. It wasn't the Premier League. So you've never won the Premier League. You've won it once, same as we did, same as Blackburn did.
And they're trying this now. They're trying to get very pedantic, because the Premier League has had a few name changes, where it's been like the FA Premier League, the Barclays Premier League, the Carling Premier League. And then I think since 2016, it's just been the Premier League.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, you've never won the Premier League when they changed their name in 2016. But then I'm just like, okay, well, you're still not even the greatest Premier League side, because Man City won 3 in that time, or whatever it is. So, yeah, they're doing a lot right now. They're doing a lot.
Yeah, so I think the best team won. I think they've got the weekend off, because obviously it's FA Cup. So let the fans have their celebration. But yeah, I think when we won the league, everyone was celebrating together. There was like 250,000 people. Went to one of Leicester's parks. There was a massive celebration. Everyone celebrated together, but we didn't drive round grounds waving our flags around just to get, I don't know why. But yeah, so same when United last. How many United fans thought, I know, I'll go to Anfield with a flag?
None.
Yeah, so United won 13 titles. Liverpool have now won 1, so they're only 12 behind.
You know what? I just want to say, because obviously I'm not going to act like I'm happy Liverpool won the league.
Yeah.
Can't do that. But as Anne said, well done. You were the best team. That can't be taken away from you. Man City nowhere near as good as they have been for the last couple of years. But you've done what you have to do. Yeah. But I'll just say that the talk about this being the greatest Premier League side because maybe they might get the most point tally. They've won it with 7 games remaining. I think it just needs to be tempered because unless you go and defend your title, there's teams like Man United, Chelsea, and Man City have all defended their titles to prove that they're head and shoulders above everyone else. And until Liverpool do that, I cannot call them the best Premier League side, regardless of how many points they get.
No. See on Sky, the thing on Sky yesterday saying about how it's one of the greatest underdog stories or something, and it's like they've spent so much money to be where they are. Like yes, it's incredible what they've done, but it's hardly an underdog story. They were expected to be there or thereabouts at the top this year.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as for the greatest Premier League team, I think Neeks is right. You need to defend your title. If you don't defend that title, then you can't be one of the best. And someone pointed out yesterday, which I thought was quite interesting, their team's not as young as the others. So Man United have got quite a young squad now. We've got a very young squad. Whereas the Liverpool forwards are aging a bit now. So they're going to have to start getting some youth in. I know they've got some great youngsters coming through. But will they do the same again next year? I don't know. I think now the financial fair play rules have been relaxed a bit. I can see Man City, Chelsea just spending an absolute fortune in the transfer window. But only time will tell. So Neil,
just coming back to that, do you think that Chelsea would potentially challenge for the title next year?
That was going to be my next question.
Oh, maybe.
That's right, we'll go with that one. So I was going to ask the same thing. Who's going to be the title challengers next year?
It's so hard to say at the moment because we've obviously got a transfer window coming up. I think logic would suggest Man City should be up there, especially you mentioned financial fair play has been relaxed. You would expect them to go into the market. They need to replace Sane due to leave to Bayern. And he didn't play the whole season, so they were literally, whether he stays or goes, it would literally be like a new signing if they didn't replace him. They haven't replaced Company. Obviously, they tried to with Maguire last year, so they need to go and get a top-class centre-back. And maybe the likes of Rodri would blend into that position of Fernandinho's that he took over this season. So I'd expect them to be up there again. But Chelsea, as it stands, they've signed Ziyech, they've signed Timo Werner. And there's talks obviously about Kai Havertz and then your left back Ben Chilwell. But if they continue on this in terms of the type of players they're going for, then it wouldn't surprise me if they put in a title challenge. Because that's Chelsea all over. They'll do nothing for a season, splash the cash, and then go and challenge for a title, or maybe even win it. I'm not going to suggest they're going to win it, but top two wouldn't be beyond them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I had a few doubts around Lampard being Chelsea manager. I didn't know if he had experience. I know he was at Derby, didn't do that well at Derby, but he seems to have got them firing on all cylinders. The youth are coming through. He's got a good combination there. And they've bought quite a few in the summer. If he can get them star players playing and scoring, then I think, you're right, they'll be challenging. What do you think, Ant?
Yeah, I think they'll be there or thereabouts and stuff. As you say, they're investing heavily and stuff. And they've played well this year, particularly with the circumstances they've found themselves in with the transfer ban and stuff and losing Hazard. So I do think they'll be there or thereabouts. And then Man City will spend heavily to close the gap on Liverpool. For Liverpool, it's if they progress or not, they have to invest in the summer. Because if they don't invest and stay still, I can see teams catching them.
Yeah, I think you're right. So let's talk about this weekend, FA Cup. This afternoon, I think you're on the later kickoff, Neeks, Norwich. What are your score predictions for that game?
It depends what team we put out. I hope actually we field a pretty much second 11 in terms of everyone that played against Sheffield. I don't really want to see them against Norwich because we've got, I would say, more important game against Brighton on Tuesday away from home. And Norwich, bottom of the league, should be a win regardless of who we put out. I'm going to go 2-0. Yeah, I think 2-0 away from home with a second 11. I think that's realistic.
Neil, score prediction?
I think it'll be an easy win for Man United. So, it depends what team they put out. I think if they want to I think this is a great opportunity for them to get through to the next round and get through to the semis. So, yeah, I think maybe 3-1, 2-0.
And
I think it'll be an easy-ish game for you guys. Norwich haven't been great. And even if you do field a second 11, you should still be better than them. So I'm going to go 2-0.
Okay, cool. Leicester obviously play Sunday afternoon, 4:30 kickoff, I think we are. Home to Chelsea. The way Chelsea are playing, the way we're playing lately, probably not a game we should be looking forward to, but knowing Leicester will come out firing on all cylinders and play the football that everyone knows we can play. So I'm going for a 2-0 win for Leicester. Neil?
Well, this is a tough one. I'm hoping that we're going to do well, but the issue is Brendan Rodgers has never beaten a Chelsea team under any team that he's managed, which is not a great stat for going into the game. But I'm still hopeful that we can get something from the game because Chelsea are firing on all cylinders at the moment, and we're seeing from the performance against Man City, they're just really up for it. So the issue that I have is that they've just played on Thursday and then they're playing again on Sunday. And that travelling is going to affect them. So, yes, they've got a stronger squad depth than us. I've got a feeling that we'll take them to penalties. And then after penalties, we'll have to see. But I'm hopefully we can win on penalties.
Okay. Neeks?
Quick question. Does it go straight to penalties or is it extra time?
No, I think it goes straight to penalties.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. What I've said to people, I think Chelsea beating Man City, logic will tell you, okay, if you can beat Man City, you can win the rest of your games, barring maybe Liverpool.
Yeah.
But that's not how Chelsea have been moving this year. They've beat a lot of the big teams. They played well against a lot of the big teams and struggled in the smaller games. I'm not saying Leicester's a small game at all, but I can't just take the Man City performance and say they're going to replicate that. So I think maybe the Thursday kickoff and the Sunday might actually play into you lot's hands because that took a lot out of them that game against Man City. So I think 2-1 Leicester.
Yeah, let's hope we do win. So obviously it's the FA Cup and the league. So we're going to ask everyone the same question. What would you prefer, FA Cup final or third in the league? I think for me, it's third in the league because there's going to be no fans at the FA Cup final. FA Cup's probably nothing without fans, if I'm honest. Neil?
I'd take third. I want to be back in Europe. That's something that we've kind of craved since 2016 and experiencing that once again. So I'll definitely take in the top 4 finish. I'd even go as far as, take for top 4.
Neeks?
Yeah, I'll take third. I think it's important for us to be back in the Champions League with the certain players that we're looking to sign in the summer and possibly players that we're trying to keep this summer. I think being back in the Champions League is imperative.
And
I'd say Champions League. I don't want to say I don't care about the FA Cup, but the FA Cup, as you say, is nothing without fans. Like the semi-final and the final of the FA Cup's a day out at Wembley, and it's the whole experience of it. Behind closed doors, it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting at Wembley for the semis and finals how packed Wembley in terms of the area will be, because I feel fans are going to go down there, especially for the final. Fans are going to go in the area to celebrate one way or another.
I think it depends what clubs you get there, because if it's United, there's like obviously a big following in London and stuff. But if it's one of the smaller clubs like Leicester you get there, it probably won't be as bad because there won't be as big a following, but there'll still be people there.
So if it's Leicester Norwich, I don't think there'll be many.
No.
We'll take the same bus, and then they could just drop off on Norwich on the way.
So one of the things I did want to talk about, which Nick has already touched on, is around transfers. We've had various conversations throughout these podcasts around who Leicester should sign, wingers, Brentford winger last night. I think he played, didn't he, Neil? Did you watch it last night?
I didn't watch it, but I read on. I had a look on BBC Sport, and yeah, he played last night.
Yeah, so we're in desperate need of a winger. And the Chilwell situation is interesting. If he goes, who do we bring in? There's been talk around us buying Tierney from Arsenal, although I've not seen him have a good game since come out of lockdown, same as other Arsenal players, so I'm not sure. So I think they're on our shopping list, but who's on the United shopping list? Because if you follow every rumours, you're buying about 26 players.
That's every year, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I was doing a list last summer about all the players we were linked to, and it was ridiculous. Like I stopped in the end. I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like we are not signing Ibrahimovic back. Like it was ridiculous. I'm telling you. But yeah, it's hard to see the wood through the trees with everything that goes on. Certain sources you can rely on more than others. So I'll try and keep those down to a minimum in terms of who I'm looking at for sources. Sancho, of course, is the big one everyone's been talking about. And it's so important for us. We need a right winger. Daniel James, he's all right, but he ain't going to win us any big trophies. Grealish, for me, I would, especially if Villa get relegated, 40 million. I don't really think much more than that in this current economic climate. I would take Maddison, but you're about double the price for him. So maybe not 8 million this summer. And we need a defensive midfielder. I really think so, because especially if we're going to be playing Pogba and Bruno, who obviously Bruno's an attacking midfielder. Pogba likes to get forward. His best work is forward. The defensive midfield at the moment, Matic is the best for the anchor role, but Matic is getting older and he never really had legs at the prime. So we need someone. Again, I'm not shopping in Leicester, but like Wilfred Ndidi, who can really take that midfield and just distribute it to the more creative players. So defensive midfield, maybe an attacking left-sided midfield like Grealish and Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, so Sancho is probably the one that most teams would love. What is it going to be? 80, 90 million?
More like 100. I think it's going to be 100 minimum, actually.
Plus add-ons, so.
Yeah, because, listen, I mean, Dortmund, they know the foreign clubs know the Premier League has money. Yeah. So they're always going to push and push and push until, and generally speaking, since Woodward has been there, we've paid, in the end, we've paid what they want. So it will take forever to do it, but then come the end of the transfer window, whatever it might be, it gets paid. So I just hope, if Woodward knows he's going to end up paying the money because he can't negotiate, it's like, accept that. I cannot negotiate. Here is the money you want. And just get it done early. Just get it done early. So,
yeah, I think you're right. I think whatever it is, then you're probably going to have to pay it because teams will pay it. So I think you're probably right. I think you probably do need a defensive midfielder. I mean, all the Leicester fans just can't stop laughing every time people walk past Maguire. I think the Spurs match was the first one.
I personally think Maguire's done well this year. Maguire's not an 80 million player. No way. We bought the 80 million was what you set the price at.
Yeah.
And how desperate we were for a centre back. We needed a top quality centre back. And Maguire is top quality. He's not 80 million, but he's top quality.
I think his position in play is usually quite good. He's great at corners, his heading abilities. He always wins duels. Tackling's quite good. I think the only thing that does him when he gets turned, and that's probably the difference between a great player and an amazing defender. But that could come with time.
I mean, I'm not expecting him to turn into Usain Bolt, personally, but that's why it's so important to get the defensive partnership right. And injuries aside, I don't understand why Solskjaer keeps playing Maguire and Lindelof, because neither of them are quick. I think you need to have Eric Bailly, in terms of from our squad, next to him. When Bailly came out from injury, we played against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and that was the partnership. And they were brilliant. We won the game 2-0. And really since then, it's been back to Lindelof and Maguire, and I think it struggled. But when he gets turned by Bergwijn, Eric Bailly can possibly cover. Lindelof's got no chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to sort that out. The best defensive partnership.
So maybe a defender to go alongside, and it's got a bit of pace. You've got a young defender coming through.
Phil Jones? No. We've got Axel Twanzebe, but he can't stay fit. That's the problem. He can't stay fit. So I would say no, other than him. Him and Bailly would be the quickest possible partners for Maguire.
Okay, sounds good. Neil, any transfers that you think we should be getting?
Yeah, as you were saying, I think we'll talk about on the last one. Ben Rama would be a decent one, or somebody of that nature. I think important in the summer, because people are going to be throwing money around, is to keep hold of our players. Now, if we can lock down Champions League, that'll be the same thing that we did when we won the Premier League. It's like, look, we've got this new opportunity. You can have the first chance to play in Europe. Stick with us. We'll see what happens. So I can see Maddison sticking, for example, with us for another year, and we'll see what happens. But overall, yeah, we just need a winger, and we just need some more squad depth. So I know we've been linked to people like Vestergaard, and Carvalho looks like he's on his way in, and we're trying to build that squad depth for the Champions League. But overall, yeah, I'm quite happy with the squad in general, but I think we need that player that just links up with Vardy, because at times when Maddison drops back, there's just nobody around him. Like Nacho played in the next one, in the last match, he didn't really do that much. So if we get that player that can whip a ball in, that can get past a player and give it to Vardy, who can put it in the back of the net, that's probably what we're lacking the most.
Okay. And
so we probably need another centre back, in my opinion, for cover for Evans and Cianchu. The left back dependent on the Chilwell situation, so I'd say potentially Tellez, bit of a stretch, or Tierney. One of us. We need someone who's going to keep to the levels or improve with what Chilwell's got. I don't want us to bring in another player that we've got to then develop up again. So a left back, and then Alfredo Morales to help out Vardy.
you have to get Morales into every conversation we have. You got some kind of contract with him.
Mate, he's brilliant. Can you just imagine the shithousery of him and Vardy every week?
Red cards, one every 2 weeks.
I was just about to say that. Is that the red card magnet, Morales?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, not Kevin Morales from Everton or wherever he is.
No.
Is he still around?
I have no idea.
It made me laugh on some of the Leicester fan sites. Someone put Carvalho, that deal was done. And they all thought it was the Chelsea. What was buying him for? He must be about 40.
I was wondering, can I get you lot's opinion on Ben Chilwell? I know whose opinion was it? Oh, Neil, we were talking about it on our show. James and Ant. Ben Chilwell, are you happy to get rid of him this summer if the price is right? And what is the right price?
So I'll try not to do a Chilwell bashing, as probably Neil will tell you what usually happens. So for me, last season he was brilliant. He was great going forward. Yes, he's young. Yes, he makes mistakes. But last season he was great. Started off the season okay, and he's just gone downhill fast since then. He's struggling to pass the ball. The fans are on his back. His defensive play is getting worse. So we've discussed this before. For me, I think his head's already been turned. I think he's already gone, I want this big summer move. I want to go to one of the bigger clubs. I understand that. But his play seems to have gone downhill since all the clubs have been interested in him for me. So based on last season's, yes, he's probably worth, I'd say, based on last season, 60 million. Based on this season, probably about 45, 50.
And would you take 45, 50? If Chelsea put it on the table, would you snatch their hand off for that?
I'm driving down to London myself.
I
knew that were coming. So
the issue is I was saying on Neeks show as well. The issue is when he has a bad game like he did against what was it called? Against Watford, then he does that screamer. People are only going to see that screamer.
Yeah, the game against Brighton, I was watching bits and pieces. Was Lamptey? Did they have him that game? Because I know Lamptey had a good game.
Lamptey tore him inside out.
Yeah, I saw a couple.
Yeah. I was really impressed with Lamptey, actually. I think is he 19? but he looked really good, and he was tearing us apart. And I saw their first game as well, and he seemed really good then. So I'm not sure whether some teams are coming for them, because Brighton, saying what you said earlier, Neeks, Brighton were all over us the first half, but they couldn't keep that tempo off, and they haven't got the squad to keep that tempo up. So I expected us to come on, but obviously we didn't come on the second half as strong as I thought it would, because you could see around the 70, 80 mark, their players were really tired.
Yeah. I just brought Lamptey into my FPL team.
Well, just so I changed mine last week because Neil keeps going on about it's a sprint, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I was top.
Oh, here we go.
Now I'm not top, so I thought I'll bring some subs in. So I bought Rashford in, and now he can't hit a barn door.
But he got 2 assists.
Can I just clear my name for a second before you throw me under this Man United bus? Yeah. And then what happened is that towards the beginning of the year, when James was doing really well, every week it was, so how's your Premier League team doing, Neil? I was right locked to the bottom. I was like, right, I'm going to do this out of spite. I'm going to do well. So now I'm at the top of the league, and he's not happy with it.
No comment. Right, everyone, it's been great having you all on. Thanks again. Me, Neil, and Ant are back next week. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Neeks, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and hopefully, if I ever come back on, I'll be a bit more happier than I have been in the last, 3-4 days. I've just hidden myself away from most of social media, posted what needs to be posted, and log out. But hopefully, this evening, Norwich, Tuesday, Brighton, those are 2 big games. I think top 4 is essential for Man United, and a trophy for Solskjaer, I think, will go a long way, because there's still pressure on him from a good section of the fans who don't believe he is the right man to take us forward. He has to prove that, and I think a trophy and top 4 will go a very, very long way. Well, yeah, thanks for having me.
No props, and we'll talk to everyone next week. Thanks. Bye.